Civilization along the Nile River did not confine itself solely to Egypt. Far to the south, in modern Sudan and Ethiopia, another civilization began to take hold. This early culture was centered on the town of Kerma, and proves elusive even today for historians and archaeologists. However, this was no mere village. The ruins left by the people of Kerma are impressive, but the really impressive aspect is their age. Ancient Egyptian civilization is typically dated from 3100 BC, but these ruins go back another 7,000 years, to 10,000 BC. That means that these ruins are from about the same time as the first villages were established. Also, the ceramics produced by the people of Kerma show a high level of technical mastery, with dyes that were not developed in Egypt for quite some time later. As archaeologists continue their excavations of Kerma, historians may have to rewrite the history of humanity's earliest settlements. Unlike Kerma, we know significantly more about the kingdom of Kush, which existed around the same time as the Egyptians. Much of this is because the Egyptians tended to write a great deal about their neighbors, but within the last few years, scholars have been able to read the Kush language, so we hear about the Kush from the Kush themselves. Kush was written in hieroglyphs, but it wasn't just a writing system that the Kush borrowed from the Egyptians. Kush leaders began styling themselves as pharaohs, worshipping the sun god Amun, and even building pyramids, just like their neighbors to the north. It was also during the time of the Kingdom of Kush that trade routes started to be established that linked Kush with the rest of the world. Far from being an outlying kingdom, Kush was at the center of a trade network that linked India, Europe, and the Middle East, and all parts of Africa, including West Africa. Such wealth made the Kush a tempting target, and the Egyptians routinely tried to conquer it. In fact, this was a cause for much of the cultural admiration that the Kush had for the Egyptians. For centuries, the Egyptians were the more powerful of the two kingdoms on the Nile. However, as the Assyrians became more powerful in the Near East, more of Egyptian resources had to be spent protecting that frontier. This meant greater instability for the rest of Egypt, and the Kush were able to capitalize on this weakness. Under King Kashta, the Kush conquered the southern part of Egypt.
The cradle of civilization. Nice image, right? Civilization as a baby, sheltered in a cradle made of lions, poisonous snakes, and a vast expanse of unforgiving desert. That doesn't exactly sound like a nurturing environment. So why Africa? The harsher environments of Africa surrounded a few areas that were lush, fertile, and prosperous. This caused the people of the harsher environments to move there. Many people living in one area felt a need for governments and complex society. Being surrounded by the deserts and jungles of Africa also made these populations think about their resources, and they relied on their creativity and ingenuity to control the production, trade, and defense of important goods. Some of Africa's first major civilizations developed this way, including Egypt, Kush, and Oxus. Egypt is located in northeastern Africa, right on the Nile River. This gigantic and abundant river provided for the people since the dawn of humanity. In the 10th millennium BC, the nomadic hunter-gatherers were replaced by the first culture to grow and harvest grain, introducing early agriculture to the region. By around 6000 BC, these people developed a Neolithic society, meaning they lived in solely one place, relied on agriculture, and had complex societies with rulers and professional labor. These people developed continually more complex cultures, leading to inventions like competing for power and resources. Each culture affected the rise and fall of others. On Egypt's southern border was another powerful state, the Kingdom of Kush, located on important tributaries of the Nile near modern-day Sudan. The people of Kush developed complex societies by at least the 21st century BC, when the Egyptian pharaoh Mentuhotep II decided they were large enough to be worth invading. Throughout Egypt's New Kingdom period, Kush was a colony of Egypt. This helped them develop the infrastructure of a kingdom, but it kept them politically and economically subjugated to the pharaoh. However, around 1070 BC, the New Kingdom was severely weakened and in sharp decline. and the Kushite people were able to gain their independence and form their own kingdom of Kush. As Kush grew in power, the eyes of their kings turned on the still wealthy Egypt. King Kashta of Kush managed to insert his daughter into Egyptian politics, giving him a chance to establish garrisons of troops in major Egyptian cities and essentially bring Egypt into the kingdom of Kush through peaceful assimilation. His son, King Paye, expanded this control through a series of military victories, formally conquering the entire kingdom of Egypt. Kush controlled Egypt from 760 BC until 656 BC.